Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Extra Point. We've got a football-filled episode today. I am joined with Benicio and John to talk about the college side of things. I think we're entering week 5 this week, and we've already seen a lot of variety, a lot of interesting things that have happened through the first 4 weeks. So guys, what are your big takeaways so far from this season?
Well, so far, I feel like you got to look at this upcoming quarterback class. A lot of guys have been disappointing. Arch Manning does not look anything close to the first overall pick that we expected him to be. And then Garrett Nussmeier, he's been struggling for LSU. They've been more of a defensive-oriented team. Even Lenora Sellers, it's hard to gauge his talent because South Carolina doesn't have a great team, but I feel like he could be doing a little bit better. And then Bryce Underwood, great as a runner. Obviously, he's not getting drafted this year, but he still leaves a lot to be desired as a passer for someone who was the number 1 recruit.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Arch Manning. The first week against Ohio State was a struggle for him, but that's kind of to be expected. It's your first road game as a starter in one of the most difficult places to play in college football. But then you still see that inconsistency in the next few weeks against teams like San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston. You had some good games, had some bad games. But Texas in general, they're off to a kind of a slow start. They were the number 1 ranked team nationally. They're now down to number 10 in the polls. They start SEC play now, so we'll see if they can bounce back from that. I don't know. What do you guys think about Texas?
I think, for one thing, that game against the Sooners is going to be something to look out for. I feel like Arch is going to have a hard time with that Sooners defense. And I also think John Mateer of Oklahoma, I think now him and Arch, it seems like they're on the same level. So
Mateer is going to be out for a few weeks. Did you see that?
Yeah, he's hurt. So I guess that's another big thing. It depends on his health. But if they lose to the Sooners, their season's over. They have to beat the Sooners.
Yeah, I feel like this kind of been thing because it's like he went up against Ohio State struggling. Since then, it's been like lower end schools, not necessarily the competition up to what the Sooners are. So it's going to be great to kind of see him against top competition again. I feel like that's really where you want to see him grow and make mistakes because you rather him, learn from the more NFL kind of bigger schools than him just having these good games against lower schools. So I'm kind of excited to see him again against top competition.
Yeah.
Like you said, we had that Ohio State game week 1, but since then Texas has had three pretty easy games against lower tier teams. But now moving on to a team that looks a little better with another good quarterback. We got Garrett Nussmeier, which we talked about, and the LSU Tigers. They had a big week 1 win against Clemson on the road. That Clemson team does not look as good as we thought they'd be. They came in the preseason ranked number 4. They now sit at 1-3.
Yeah, Cade Klubnik, another quarterback that's been underperforming.
Yeah.
But that LSU defense has been locked down now that Harold Perkins is back from injury. So it's going to be exciting to see what they do. A lot of their games, I think they're going to be won in the trenches. Garrett Nussmeier, he's been good. He hasn't really been playing like a first overall pick. But that defense is scary.
Yeah, and like you said, LSU, they are currently number 4 in the country, and they have a big game this week. They've been tested, but those wins, those quality wins that they had, they've proven to not be as quality as we thought. As we said, they beat Clemson week 1. We thought at the time that was a good win. They're now 1-3. Florida as well, they beat. Florida is also 1-3. So these 2 teams that we thought were good don't seem to be as good as we thought. So this game at Ole Miss, they are a ranked team. I believe they're ranked number 13.
Yeah.
It's a big game, and there's a lot on live. You've been on social media lately. There's a little bit of
drama.
A little drama there in that game. Lane Kiffin, he said to take the over. We'll leave it at that. If you want to do more research, you can check social media to see what's going on there. But moving on to some other teams, there's one team that I want to talk about that I still don't really know how to feel about them. That's the Penn State Nittany Lions. They came into the season ranked number 2. They're now number 3 because of Miami's successes.
Yeah.
Penn State has not played anybody this year. They've played FIU. They've played Nevada. They've played Villanova. These teams that are obviously nowhere close to where Penn State is.
Yeah.
Penn State has not been tested this year. But this week, the whiteout game against Oregon. I think we can figure out how Penn State is this year. I'm sorry to cut you off, John.
No,
Yeah.
very good. I'm excited to see Drew Aller against some, more upper competition because he's another one. We talk about quarterbacks in this draft class that was he could have entered last year's draft.
Yeah.
And he decided to say to boost his stock. So when he started out well, like you said, maybe not against the greatest competition, but we're going to see him, play a little bit higher competition. So I think it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, and then Dante Moore from Oregon, he's got to be an early Heisman contender. Oregon is basically QBU.
Oregon is killing it this year.
They're QBU. From all their quarterbacks, whether or not they succeed in the NFL, they always have good quarterback talent in college. And I do think this game's going to be an absolute shootout with two of the best quarterbacks in the country. Penn State, they have a solid defense. It's just not as good as it was last year without Abdul Carter. Oregon, not so much. They've always been an offensive-oriented team. So this is probably one of those games where it's just going to come down to which quarterback makes less mistakes or which team has the ball last.
I'm curious, who do you guys got in that game?
I have Penn State.
You have Penn State?
I think the home field advantage is a huge thing, and I do think their defense is slightly better.
John, what about you?
I agree. I'm a big Drew Aller fan right now.
I'm going to disagree with both of you. I actually have Oregon winning this game. I think that Penn State has not been tested yet. Yes, they're a good team. They have a lot of returning talent from that team last year that made the college football playoff semifinal. However, this Oregon team has been on rails since the start of the year.
Who would you say was their best opponent?
Oregon or Penn State?
Oregon.
Oregon played Oklahoma State at home. Oklahoma State, yes, is not a good team. Oregon has not. This is Oregon's first true test too. But Oklahoma State is better than any team that Penn State has played this year.
I think that's fair.
Oklahoma State is arguably one of the worst Power 4 teams in the country. They just fired Mike Gundy. They just lost at home to Tulsa. But Oregon put up 75 points on them.
Yeah.
75 points against a Power 4 team is very, very impressive in and of itself. They also just had the Civil War against Oregon State this past weekend. Took care of business there. No competition. Oregon has beat up pretty much everybody they've played. And I think that on the field, they've looked better than Penn State, and I think that Oregon will get it done in a tough atmosphere this weekend.
Yeah, I definitely think both these teams go to the tournament.
Yeah, the playoff. I agree.
I have a hard time. I'm not convinced they're better than Ohio State. I stand by the belief that Ohio State are still the kings of college football until proven otherwise. But I do think that this might be Penn State's best chance at beating Ohio State, and it might be Oregon's best chance at beating Ohio State.
Now, if I had a vote in the AP poll, I personally would not put Ohio State at number one.
You wouldn't? Who would you put at number
one? I would
one?
put Miami.
They've been really good so far. I could see that. I mean, Carson Beck's had a great senior year after a lot of people were questioning his ability after the transfer. Their defense is much improved from where it was last year.
I think the reason I would not put Ohio State at one, Ohio State, yes, they had the big win against Texas. However, that game was a sloppy game. It was a 14-7 Ohio State victory, a defensive battle. Since then, Ohio State, they haven't played anybody. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
But they haven't really looked overly impressive in those wins. Yes, they won by big margins, but again, these are
free wins.
Yeah, pretty much. Miami has a win over Notre Dame, who, yes, I get is 1-2, but Notre Dame is
they're
still
one of
ranked.
those 1-2 teams.
They're
it's
one
a lot
and two
better
team
than their record would indicate.
They're a lot better at their record. Miami took care of business there, and they beat South Florida by a wide margin. South Florida is almost certainly the favorite to get the Group of 5 bid to the playoff. South Florida has a win on the road against Florida in the Swamp. And speaking of Florida, Miami also beat that Florida team too. So I think the Hurricanes right now have the best resume in the country. They've looked better than anybody. And I think that they right now would be my vote for the number one team in the country. But moving on to teams that have surprised you guys a little bit, teams that are doing well that you haven't really expected. You mentioned South Florida. They came out of nowhere to beat Boise State. They beat Florida, as I said. But I have a different team in mind. I'm going to let you guys go first. Surprising team.
So my big surprise this year, I don't know if I'd call it a big surprise, but definitely my dark horse team, I would say. I'm going to go with the Indiana Hoosiers.
Indiana, they just beat
so
Illinois
far,
by 50.
Yeah, that was a statement when their defense completely shut down Luke Altmaier and company. And Fernando Mendoza, so far, he is the Heisman favorite on Fanatics Sportsbook. He's probably the most accurate thrower of the football in the country. Made a bunch of crazy tight window throws in that win over Illinois. And their whole new coaching system with Kurt Signetti, he just completely turned around this team from a team that was really the laughingstock of the Big Ten to making the tournament last year, and now they're starting the season off 4-0. They got a big matchup against Penn State in 2 weeks, and I'm excited to see what they do.
I think for me, it's not really a big surprise, but a team I really wasn't high on coming in, mainly because I was kind of questioning the quarterback, was Miami. The team we were talking about, because
they have certainly been
Carson
surprising.
Beck was kind of like a guy, like you guys were saying, that was kind of, a little question, whatever. So not that I thought they'd be bad, but to go to how high they've been definitely kind of was like, oh, okay.
No, I definitely agree with that. I don't think anybody expected Miami to be number 2 in the country by week 5. Like, they haven't really had the success that they did back in the early 2000s with those dominant Miami teams, but now we're kind of seeing that again. But my surprise team is a team that went 2-10 last year. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
2-10 last year.
The Seminoles, baby.
With Mike Norvell as the head coach. Florida State in week 1 took care of Alabama. That game was not close. It was 31-17.
I was so happy when they won that game.
That game was not as close as it was on the scoreboard.
Can't
Florida
stand
State
Bama.
dominated that game. And now the Seminoles, a year removed from going 2-10. They already have more wins than they did last year, and they are back to top 10 in the country. It's crazy to think about how far Florida State has come from the lowest of lows last year.
Yeah.
And in a big game in a few weeks, they play Miami. So we'll
Are
see
they
how that
home or
goes.
away?
I think they're away. I think
That's
going to
be very tough.
Yeah, it's a tough place to play. But to wrap this segment up, guys, it's week 5. We've seen the teams play. Give me a quick national championship pick to wrap it up for as of right now.
National championship
Yes.
pick. I think the national championship is going to come down to 2 of the best defenses in the country. It's going to be Ohio State versus LSU, and I
Okay.
think that LSU gets it done because they have the
LSU.
more experienced quarterback in Nussmeier. Julian Sayin is in his first year as a full-time starter. I just think the experience really matters.
John, what do you think?
Oh, I'm going to go with surprise Oregon.
Oregon?
Yeah, I think they're going to surprise, maybe versus Ohio State or something.
For me personally, I'm going to go with Miami. Miami they just look so good right now. Carson Beck has the playoff experience, but college football, as we said, got a long ways to go. Still a lot of season ahead, but that's a little bit of our thoughts on how the season's gone. We're going to continue this episode with some fantasy football, so stick around, and we'll see you guys then.
Everyone, welcome to the final segment of Extra Point this week. We just talked about some college football. Let's hop right over to the NFL, but not entirely NFL. Talk about some fantasy football. Joined here with Tom, John, Frank. How are you guys doing in fantasy this year? I'm doing all right.
I'm currently 2-1. I'm
Okay.
happy with my team. Originally, in the beginning of the season, I was kind of stressing. I only scored 100 points, but I'm back and I scored 180 last week, and I'm gonna win this week.
Alrighty.
Yeah, man, I got a little bit of a complaint with the receivers this year. I've struggling. I drafted in my 2 leagues Jamar Chase, C.D. Lamb. One's without their quarterback for over a month, and one's
Wait, you had Jamar and C.D. Lamb
2
in the
different
same-
leagues. No, 2
Okay,
different
I was
leagues.
about to say.
Yeah.
No, I'm
like,
saying
it's
my
like
first
a
pick
two-person
just-
league. You got Jamar and
And yeah, but it's not even just me. I mean, A.J. Brown, Justin Jefferson. I feel bad for people picking up top receivers this year. I got to be honest.
Yeah, so I'm in 10 leagues, so it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to gauge
10
how
leagues?
good I'm
That's
doing.
crazy.
He's
Yeah, I'm in
ridiculous.
10 leagues.
That's insane. How do you I was in 7 last year, and I barely managed to make it through 7. 10 leagues is
Yeah, I'm in 10.
insane.
I make it work. I usually go through on every Tuesday night, spend 30 minutes on the waiver wire, picking up guys, dropping guys. It takes a while. You got to scroll through each league, make sure you're picking up the
It's
right
like
guys.
a side job.
It really is.
I
It's
mean, granted, with the money that you're making,
if I succeed,
Yeah.
it's good. My money leagues, I have 5 money leagues, and those are the 5 focus ones. The other 5 I just kind of put to the side. But I pay attention to them either way.
What's your record in
my
these leagues?
Which ones? The money leagues?
All of them.
Okay, all of them. Okay, I'm 3-0 in one of them.
Cool.
I'm 0-3 in one of them. Okay.
Our league,
Our
we're
league.
both 0-3
There's
in
2
the same
0-3 people in
league.
that league, and you're looking at him and me. So,
Unlucky.
yeah, but I'm 3-0 in one. I should be 3-0 in 2. We'll get into that later. How I'm not 3-0 in the other one. I'm 0-3 in one, but the rest I'm 2-1 or 1-2.
Okay.
So
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
That's good.
You mentioned the waiver wire. Who is our designated waiver wire pickup of the week?
Trey Tucker, all the way.
Yeah, Trey
You
Tucker
know,
was
that's
good.
like that was my waiver wire pickup. You know, can't go wrong with Trey Tucker. 40 bomb last week, so
He was really
Yeah.
good. He also had a couple really good performances last year, too. I picked him up in my Dynasty League. Going for the three-peat, by the way. Uno, dos, tres. Three-peat in Dynasty League, by the way. I had to mention that. I know everyone loves when I talk about my Dynasty League. But Trey Tucker, man, he was great last year for like a couple games, and then I think he got hurt. But this year he really rebounded. I mean, he's like the wide receiver, too, or could be in that room. Because
Yeah.
Jacoby
He's
Myers,
top
not sure
five
about
right now.
it.
It's
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
Yeah, he was a good pickup. Who else are we thinking?
You know, one guy that kind of broke out Sunday when he finally got the start, but Cam Scatterbu. I mean, I'm not.
He's available.
Yeah, a lot of people haven't picked him up. I mean, they probably did this week, but if you don't get him, I mean, you're talking about a starting running back that has no morals for his health. So.
I mean, I feel like
And Tyrone Tracy's hurt, too.
Yeah, he's dislocated shoulder. He's gonna be out for a minute. So Cam Scatterbu.
a lot of leagues picked him up in the draft, though. You would think, right? Or
I don't know.
In shallower leagues, he was definitely available.
Yeah, yeah.
I drafted Cam Scatterbu in 3 leagues.
I'm in a lot of my dynasty leagues. I picked him up in a lot of them. He's already a starter for me. So
Yeah,
like,
he's great. Guy's
yeah.
great.
So for my guys, I have a few names that I want to bring up. Trey Benson, if he's available.
For
That's
sure.
Good pick.
For sure.
it's like 50-50 on his availability, but if he is, he's now the running back one in Arizona for the rest of the season unless the Cardinals make a trade. He's getting 80+% of the snaps. He's playing right now as we speak, so we'll see how he's doing when we get out of here. Luther Burden is another one for me. Just got 100 yards in the game Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, he only got 3 targets, so the usage is a bit of concern for me, but if he can keep just being good at football, I think that Luther Burden is a good pickup. And Trey Tucker, you guys mentioned him. I think his performance on Sunday was a little bit fluky. I still would pick him up in deeper leagues, but I think that Trey Tucker is someone that I would pick up as guys like Luther Burden over him.
I can't believe we're missing a very pivotal quarterback who definitely was on the waiver wire
Jackson
for a few
Dart?
weeks. Daniel Jones,
Daniel
man.
Jones,
Indiana
okay.
Jones. We're talking a guy
feel
who
like he
doesn't
was-
have a turnover yet this year.
Yeah, he's been crazy. He's
I
he's a top
can't-
5 quarterback in fantasy right
He
now.
was available in a surprising amount of leagues left. And listen, he's killing it this year. I thought it was a fluke. I thought he played a hot garbage Miami defense week 1, which he did. But after that, very impressive outing against Denver.
Yeah,
and then
and
was
Denver's
great. I mean, I know that a
consensus
lot of
number one
that,
defense.
a lot of that has to do to the credit of how good Jonathan Taylor's been this year.
He's been
but
incredible.
Still,
The Colts offense in general.
Colts
Tyler
offense has
Warren.
been very good. One punt.
Tyler Warren,
One
he's
punt
been
in the
great.
first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Pittman's
Michael
having a bit of a
Pittman,
resurgence.
yeah.
Josh Downs had a slow week 1, but he's bounced
They got
back in
good
weeks 2 and
offense,
3.
man.
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like
And
another
line.
sleeper pick is Travion Henderson.
If he's,
after the
picked
long
draft him
week
so-
last
so many
week.
leagues.
After the long week last week of, unfortunately, Antonio Gibson a fumble, Ramondre Stevenson 2 fumbles, I feel like
I
Travion
think-
Henderson will finally
I
get
think
the
this is the
opportunity
week
to
he
start.
gets a lot of snaps.
Yeah.
I drafted him in a lot of leagues. I've been holding off on him. I haven't been trading him. I believe that he's going to be the starter soon. I think it could be this week after the reporting to the running backs last week.
Yeah.
Another guy I want to mention, 2 guys actually. Junkins, who's
Yeah.
returning for the Browns, was very
Junkins,
good last
I have
week.
a lot to say about him.
He's going to probably be the #1 RB in Cleveland. And then Jordan Addison.
Jordan Addison was
Jordan
available.
Addison's back.
He was available in one of my 14-man leagues. I was like, how is this guy available? And I couldn't pick him up because I was 2-1.
Oh,
so I
too
didn't
low
know
on the
how
waiver?
But man, I was like, why did he get dropped?
This is a guy who had back-to-back seasons of over 1,800 yards and over 7 touchdowns. He's a really good wide receiver,
He
too.
is.
I think he gets very overlooked in the wide receiver, too. So, like, you have your Waddles, your T. Higgins, your Devontae Adams is now a wide receiver, too, which is crazy to say. But
Elite one at that.
yeah, an elite wide receiver, too. Devonta Smith is another guy. But this is a really good wide receiver, too, in Jordan Addison that we're talking about that a lot of people kind of don't appreciate, but a very good fantasy pickup. If you are able to get him.
You know what's one more for like a higher, like the teams that maybe don't have the highest waiver wire pickup that's been for the short term at least is Thornton on the Chiefs. He's been having
Yeah.
12,
Thornton.
13.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
saw a
He
lot of
made a
that.
ridiculous catch in that Giants game.
Yeah.
I actually did pick him up on one of my waiver wires in one of my 10 leagues this week. Tyquan Thornton. I'm considering starting him because I had Mike Evans go down with an injury. I need a flex in there. My one concern with Tyquan Thornton is if Xavier Worthy comes back,
Yeah.
where his usage will be. Will he still be in 3 wide receiver sets? I think so. I think Juju's the one right now that would not be seeing the playing time. But if Tyquan Thornton can stay out there in 3-hour series sets until Rasheed Rice comes back, he could be a starter.
So you mentioned Mike Evans' injury. I'm also suffering from that. I have Mike
Yeah.
Evans. Mike
Same.
Evans is like he's like my team captain in fantasy. I draft that guy every single year. Every year he falls in the draft. And then I'm like, all right, I'll probably deal with a couple weeks where he's injured. But then it's Mike Evans. Guy's averaging 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns a year at least.
Yeah.
So what injury has hurt you the most this year so far? Because right now for me,
I got a good answer for this
CeeDee
one.
Lamb and Mike Evans are really hurting me right now.
My whole team has
CeeDee
been-
Lamb for me.
CeeDee.
My God.
My whole team has been healthy, fortunately.
That's
not,
good to hear.
Not a single injury
That's
yet.
good to hear. And can we just hold on? I just want to talk about that CeeDee Lamb injury real quick. Can we talk about how stupidly he got injured?
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
What are the Cowboys doing? We're lining
right.
CeeDee. This isn't Debo
Sean Heimer's
Samuel.
trying to be a hero.
We're lining CeeDee Lamb up in our running back slot. What are we doing? What possible play call could we possibly be doing there? A guy who's never taken a snap at running back in his entire college and NFL career gets hurt on the very play,
That's crazy.
and now is out 4 to 6 weeks.
It's the
it was
Cowboys
2
have
to
not been
4.
very clear with how long he'll be out. He could
know
be
how
back
long
as early
it's
as next week, but the consensus is at least 3 to 4 weeks.
Which is mind-boggling stupid. Like, it's just stupid. Like, why are we doing that?
Yeah.
Like, what are we accomplishing on that?
I actually, on the topic of CeeDee Lamb, if we want to get into trades, I just made a trade for CeeDee Lamb this week.
Okay.
Okay, so I traded, this is like the biggest trade I've ever made. I probably won't be able to tell you guys all the details, but I traded CeeDee Lamb, or no, I got CeeDee Lamb, Troy Franklin, and Xavier Worthy, and Tyler Warren, all 4 in one trade,
Okay.
in exchange for Marvin Harrison Jr., Ted McMillan, I can't even remember, I traded some, Jamison Williams, and Juwan Johnson.
Oh,
Jawan
that's
Johnson.
Juwan Johnson.
Did you get Jawan Johnson?
No,
from
I
Jameson?
got, no,
Oh,
I
that's
traded
a-
them away. I got CD.
I think you kind of got fleeced there, honestly.
I'm gambling on I'm gambling on CD coming back.
I disagree. I think that's a huge win for you. CeeDee Lamb comes back, and that's just an easily. And
I have
Xavier
neighbors.
Worthy.
I have neighbors in that league too.
Yeah, you'll
So I
have
could have
CD.
neighbors and Lamb.
That's ridiculous. You'll have Worthy, CD, and neighbors. Like,
Yeah.
what do you?
And
And you're
Tyler
what are you? 2-1 in that
I'm
league?
2-1.
Come on.
That's the league I should have been 3-0 in.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's a
I'm
win.
2-1.
That's a W trade. You're setting yourself up for the play. In the playoffs, you're not losing a game. How many people are in this league?
12.
You're not losing a game. Worthy, CD, and neighbors in a
Yeah.
12-man.
Yep.
You're winning that league.
And I have Bucky Irving at running back and Lamar Jackson at quarterback.
Yeah, like that's
so.
just stupid. Who's your other running back?
DeAndre Swift, which I don't really like, but he's manageable. He's
fair.
the bell cow in Chicago for now. But I have an guy on the bench as well if Swift were to ever go down or lose his job.
Gotcha. Any other crazy trades that we want to bring up?
I did a crazy trade
Let's hear
that
it.
is going to seem an immediate, like,
We're going to
maybe-
grade your trades, by the way.
Okay.
We're going to grade your
So
trades.
it's a big trade like his, except I was sending away Jamar Chase.
Okay.
I lost Mike Evans and I lost Jamar Chase in the same league. I got
Okay.
back Malik Neighbors in the short term.
I
And
think you win that already, but keep
yeah.
going.
No, that's it. It was Malik Neighbors for Jamar.
I think you win
That's
that.
interesting.
I think you win that.
I think you win that great. I think you win that
I
trade right
have
now
no
too.
receivers. I have no choice. I can't wait on
that's-
Jamar.
I think Jamar he's not a top 5 receiver in fantasy anymore without Jake Brown. And we saw
that's
that
my
in Minnesota
nerve.
last week, how
I
much the
can't.
Bengals offense truly struggled without Joe Burrow. And I think his game last week, I think was very fluky. Russell Wilson had a very bad game. And I think that his upside is even higher now with Jackson Dart as the starter.
And I kind of have a hot take on that. I think Brian Dable is a little bit holding back with Russell Wilson. You watch Russell Wilson
I
play,
agree.
and a lot of it was dunking, just Hail Marys, Hail Marys. I think with Jackson Dart, he's going to run more of a high-tempo offense because that's what he did at Ole Miss, which would imply maybe Neighbors does get a little more open looks and a little more creative sense.
I think that it's an interesting take there because, I mean, when you think of like Russell Wilson, you got the moon ball,
Right.
a lot of deep shots into deep coverages where Neighbors is going to get a lot of targets. But when there's not really another, I mean, Wandale Robinson, fine receiver, but there's not another guy who, even like Darius Slayton, there's not another guy to really take that pressure. Because look at what Steve Spagnuolo did with Neighbors last week. They just blanketed him, and Trent McDuffie was phenomenal in coverage.
Yeah.
They were showing him a lot of zone looks and where he was just blanketed the entire game. And there wasn't another receiver that was able to step up and make a lot of plays. So I think with Dart, it'll be a little bit tough. I don't know how Dart's going to be utilized, but I think rookie quarterback, he's going to be throwing the ball to Neighbors a lot. You throw the ball to your best playmaker, make it as easy for your rookie quarterback as possible. But this week, though, I will say I don't know about Neighbors against that Chargers defense, man.
No, that's true.
Harbaugh coaching.
Because you talk about a young quarterback, they're going to want to make easy plays, so it's going to be a lot of slants and a lot of easy plays for Malik Neighbors just to get those easy catches. So even if it's not big Hail Mary things, I think they're going to prioritize making it as easy for Jackson Dart, because remember, Brian Dable's job's on the line. He's not going to go in there just letting him, do some stuff that's going to cost the team and himself.
So I think you would say Malik Neighbors is a guy that's probably a stock up.
Yeah, I think there's
Yes,
potential there.
I think so.
Potentially.
Who are some other guys that we think the stock is really, really rising on? I can name a guy. I think
name
Bucky
yours.
Irving stock
Why?
is through the roof
There
right
you
now.
go.
yeah.
Bucky Irving kind of came out of nowhere last year
Yeah.
and was a fantastic back, and now that he's the RB1 in Tampa, he's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Bucky's great. He gets a ton of receptions a game.
He does.
He's a great receiving back, one of the best receiving backs in football right now, right next to Devon Achane, but I'm going to get to him after. But Bucky's great. Devon Achane, I mean, listen, Tua's just dinking and dunking down the field.
Yeah.
I mean, Tua's been exposed.
He's getting like 20 a game. He's like a CMC light.
He is. No, he's literally just like, I would say he's just as good as CMC right now. I mean, he's just got to get the touchdowns, which is hard when, Tua's playing the way he is right now. But, I mean, Devon Achane, man, that guy's a fantasy. He's been great in fantasy.
And give him credit, too. I remember with the pre-draft process, everyone's talking about his health. Like, he's not going to be healthy. I drafted him. I was nervous as heck. I had Ollie Gordon as, one of the late
Because they
names.
also said Ollie Gordon was going to be the goal line back
Right.
this year, which worried me, too. But
Yeah.
Achane's just, you can't take that guy off the field.
No.
He's the number one playmaker right now, by a landslide as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go with my guy, Drake May.
You want to show
Yeah.
everyone the jersey, by the way?
Yeah, Drake May, best quarterback in the league. He's been doing really well outside of the fumble and 2 interceptions in the past 2 games. He's been doing amazing.
Torched Miami. That's for sure.
Torched Miami. Did really well against against the Raiders. Just a few issues. We need to fix up the run game. So outside of that, I mean, if the O-line blocks for him, he's going to at least average 20 points a game.
20 a game is
Yeah.
a lot.
That's
a great
have it.
number.
But he
Dude,
has the rushing upside to do it.
Yeah.
He has. He could run. He's getting a rushing touchdown almost every game.
I don't know about 20 a game, but that's
No,
okay.
don't doubt Drake May.
All right, before we wrap up, can I tell the story of how I should have been 3-0 in that one league?
Yeah, tell us. Go ahead.
Let's hear it. Story
So, going into Monday night, I was down by 10.
time. Okay.
I had Lamar Jackson and Jamison Williams. My opponent had David Montgomery. So
That stinks.
I'm going in. I'm thinking I'm good. I'm 3-0 in this league. I'm going to trade for CD Lamb the next day. I still did, but I would have felt better about it. Jamison Williams gets 2 catches on the first drive. I'm like, I'm good. I win. Little did I know those would be his only 2 catches of the game, and David Montgomery would have the best game of his career,
31
of
points.
his Lions career.
Yeah, I'm happy as a
Yeah,
David
I lost
Montgomery.
by 4, so I still almost won, but
Brutal. And you had Lamar, too, right?
I was so mad. Like, I was in my house and I was like, I wanted to punch a hole in my wall. I was really, really mad.
I was winning and then lost because I had the Ravens defense that game. I was up by 2 against fellow producer Ian Epstein. And then, Ravens defense, -6 points, and I lost.
Did he have anybody going?
I think he did, but I think if they even had 5 points, I would have won.
Oh my God,
But nope, -6, and I lost.
that's
So,
crazy.
Thank you. And then bear in mind, this is one of the best secondaries in the league, too. That got absolutely roasted by Jared Goff and the Lions, but it is what it is.
Football.
But that's football for you. And with that being said, we're going to wrap up the segment here. Thank you guys for tuning into Extra Point, and we will see you guys next week.
Cool.